All right, guys, I have a crazy idea. I want to see if it's possible for an average person to get their hands on a rideable, streetable, and safe motorcycle for under $500. A couple of things that we are going to look for when we start our search for our sub $500 motorcycle is, first of all, safety. Is this thing going to fall apart on us when we try to ride it? Is it going to be easy to work on? Are there computers that we need to worry about? Is it carbureted? Is it fuel injected? Are there known issues with the motors? Third thing we're going to look for is parts availability. The stuff that we are going to have to fix, because let's admit, a $500 motorcycle probably not going to be in the best of shape. We want to make sure that parts that we are going to need to get this thing up and running are ready and available to us so that we can get them done. Let's have a look, see what Facebook tells us. Okay, so what I've done is I've pulled up my local Facebook marketplace. I've kind of cropped the screen a little bit to help keep things a little bit more private. But we are going to do a quick little search here. Let's just type in motorcycle price. We'll do, even though our ultimate goal is 500, we probably don't want to spend all of it on the bike because then that's going to leave us no room for parts. So let's go ahead, let's set it at 400 and see what comes up. So we've got a Honda Goldwing, we've got a Kawasaki Ninja. I've owned a Goldwing before. These things are a pain in the butt to work on, especially if it's a clutch or a carburetor issue. Um, Not something I really want to mess with again. And this one looks like it needs a lot more than $300 worth of work. And these timing belts in here tend to be bad if they haven't been taken care of, and those can be pretty expensive. We got a Ninja here for 400. That's not bad, but it's looking like it's missing some crucial stuff like the top triple tree, the handlebars. These are things that you got to look for when we're doing research. A Virago 2002. This is probably a little bit too far gone for us. It has potential. A lot of putting back together. A lot of times when you're dealing with these cheap bikes, you have to deal with stuff that other people have quit on. Like here's another Goldwing. This is an 83, so this might be a 1200 possibly, a GL 1200. It's not too bad, but it also looks like it hasn't been taken care of very well, and all this wiring sticking out here kind of worries me a little bit. And once again, these carbs and this clutch back here, not fun to play with. All right, so it's a GL 1100. Um, let's search a little more. There's our Goldwing. I think I'm kind of throwing Goldwings off the table here. 2004 Yamaha FJR. I will admit I'm not the greatest when it comes to newer bikes, hence the name Vintage Honda Garage. So I'm going to try to see if I can find something a little bit older. All right, guys, I think we found something here. We've got a 1981 Honda CB650 parts bikes or fix. I like the sounds of that. Scrolling through the pictures, we can see that we've got a frame and looks like a complete motor here. We've got a bike that's had the top end torn off of it. But if we look here, here's some more. Here's a picture of the bike completed. So I've actually already messaged this guy to get a little bit more info. I did that off camera. And what I found out was This was a running driving bike, and for some reason he needed to pull the top end off. I think he lost compression or something like that. So that is why in this picture it's got the top end torn off. But this package, I talked to him, comes with a motor that is already complete and not torn apart. What he did was he took all the ignition stuff out of this motor and put it into this motor. But then this motor kind of crapped out on him. So what I'm thinking we could do is put in this motor, swap all the electronics back into it, put this motor into this bike, and we should be good. It says right here, no title at this time. That's not a huge thing. First of all, when I talked to him, he gave me the quote-unquote title is in the mail line. So hopefully he's telling the truth. I'll give him a self-addressed stamped envelope for him to send me the title when it comes in. But if the title doesn't come in for some odd reason, I know a couple loopholes through various states to where I can obtain registration, title, things like that.
A few moments later.
Okay, I got everything all set up for this Honda CB650. I feel like this is going to be a good project for us. They are not the most complicated bike to work on in the world. I've ever actually personally owned one before. It is a 4-cylinder, which 4 cylinders, 4 carburetors can be tricky to deal with sometimes, but I have worked on the bigger brothers, the CB750s. I've also worked on Yamaha XJ750s, which are all 4-cylinder bikes as well. And at the end of the day, not too bad. It is a Honda. Hondas tend to just run and run and run forever. So I feel like this is it's good bones, good potential, and it's a cool bike, and I feel like we can really, really achieve our goal with staying under $500 and have ourselves a nice running bike. So let's go get it. All right, guys, we are in the truck. We're getting ready to make our two and a quarter hour trip up north to get the bike. So let's go. You made memories, and now you're going to make better ones with your... Oh, yeah. We just picked up all of our parts from the seller. Great guy, lots of good stories, told me a lot about the bike. Apparently, he had carburetor issues with it to begin with, and then compression on the motor that's currently in it was something in the 50 psi per cylinder range, and for those of you that know anything about motors, that's very low. The good news is though, it did come with that spare motor that I'm hoping we can just swap in to the frame and not have to worry about rebuilding an engine. We'll do a compression check and everything when we get back home. But right now we've got a 2 hour and 16 minute, 145 mile drive ahead of us. So let's just kick back and enjoy the views along the way. All right guys, so we got the bike unloaded. I didn't get any video of that because I figured you guys didn't want to see me struggle and go ask my wife for help. But I want to kind of give us a rundown of what all we got. First, down here, we got a new gasket set. We have new new rings. We've also got all the carburetor rebuild stuff. Back here, we've got 2 extra racks of carburetors, a bunch of miscellaneous parts, some extra fenders, the seat and extra street, and the carburetors for the bike are in the back there. We've got 2 sets of pipes, some extra wheels, you know, extra tank that's no good. We have the actual extra frame itself. Here's our transplant engine that's gonna go in. And here she is, guys, our main attraction. This is a 1981 Honda CB650. Now, I know it doesn't look like much considering it's missing half the engine, but there is so much potential here. When I was with the seller, we hooked up a good battery because if you look here, this battery is from 2000. Oh boy, this battery is 20 years old. When we hooked up a good battery to it, every single electronic fired up. Everything works, headlight works, blinker works, horn works. I'm sure if we would have pressed the button, the starter would have worked. So this bike actually doesn't need a whole lot. Sure, the tires got a lot of tread on them, but if you look at the date code here, where'd it go? It's on here somewhere. But I did the math, and I think they were made in late November of 2010. So that might be something we have to look into replacing, which would eat a lot out of our budget. Or we can just ride them as is and let the next person who owns this bike know that the tires are old, you know? But great start to our little project. All right, so we have everything home now. We know for sure that we're going to need a battery right off the bat. That's unfortunate, but the one in there is 20 years old and does not hold a charge at all. We'll find a okay one off of eBay or something like that. You know, we just want to get this thing up and running, up and riding. But I cannot stress how nice this thing is actually going to be when we are done, and I think there's a good chance that we are going to stay well below $500. Knock on wood. I do also know that we are going to have to do a little bit of work with the tank. The tank is pretty crusty on the inside, so I'm going to start soaking that in some apple cider vinegar, and then I'm going to order some POR 15 tank sealer. For those of you that have never used it before, that is without a doubt, hands down, the best tank sealer I've ever used. Don't let anybody trick you talking about red coat or anything else like this. The POR 15 stuff is by far the best you could ever hope for with this. Tank probably going to take 2 weeks or so to derust and get sealed and things like that, but we're not in too much of a hurry with the current state of the world. We've got plenty of time. So until next time, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.